The chlorine you added to your pool this morning is already gone. Not used up, destroyed. In direct summer sunlight, ultraviolet radiation breaks down free chlorine at a rate most pool owners never suspect. Roughly half your chlorine disappears every 2 hours of direct sun exposure. 4 hours of a clear July afternoon, and 3/4 of what you added is gone before a single person swims in it. That is not bad luck with your particular pool. That is the actual reason you're spending $200 a season on chlorine when the correct number is closer to 30. By the end of this, you will know exactly what is stripping your chlorine out of the water before it can do anything useful. A single $10 bag that stops it for an entire season. And one more thing your pool store tests for every spring knows exactly what it means and has never once explained to you. Because understanding it cuts your annual bill by 80%, and that is not in their interest. The average backyard pool owner spends somewhere between $150 and $300 per season on chlorine. Shock treatments, weekly tablets, midweek top-ups because the water keeps going cloudy even though you just added a full dose 2 days ago. Most people accept that as the cost of having a pool. They add chlorine, the sun beats down, the level drops, they add more. That cycle runs all summer, and every hardware store and pool supply shop in North America is perfectly happy to keep it going indefinitely. Here is what the pool store test tells them every single spring, and what the staff almost never explains. When you bring in a water sample at the start of the season, a competent pool store runs between 5 and 8 individual tests. pH, total alkalinity, calcium hardness, free chlorine, combined chlorine, total dissolved solids. And one more number on that printout, cyanuric acid. They write it down. They tell you whether it is in range. Then they hand you a bag of shock and a box of pucks and send you home. Cyanuric acid, CYA, is the most important number on that entire printout. Most pool owners have never once been told what it actually does. CYA is a sunscreen for chlorine. That is not a metaphor, it is the literal chemistry. When cyanuric acid is present in pool water at the right concentration, chlorine molecules temporarily bond to it. That bond physically blocks ultraviolet light from reaching the chlorine's active site. The chlorine is still there. It is still fully available to kill bacteria and algae when a bather introduces them, but the UV that would have degraded it in 2 hours can no longer reach it directly. A pool with 0 CYA loses half its chlorine by early afternoon on a sunny day. A pool with CYA maintained at the correct level stretches that exact same amount of chlorine 3 to 7 times as far. Same water, same chlorine. One number changed. The result is a completely different bill. A $10 bag of granular cyanuric acid from any hardware store contains enough stabilizer to treat a standard 20,000-gallon backyard pool for a full season. You add it once when you open the pool in spring, and you maintain a level between 30 and 50 parts per million for a traditional chlorine pool. After that, your chlorine stops vanishing by noon. The twice-weekly shock treatments you were running because the water kept turning green stop happening. You are topping up chlorine occasionally instead of buying it in bulk every week. That one purchase pays for itself before the end of June. Everything after that is money you are no longer spending. Now, the detail that turns this from a money-saving tip into something every pool owner genuinely needs to understand. Most pool owners who use the standard 3-inch trichlor tablets, the ones that sit in a floating dispenser or a skimmer basket and dissolve slowly over days, believe they are simply adding chlorine. They are not. Trichlor and dichlor, the two most common tablet and shock formulations sold at every pool supply store, are stabilized chlorine. The cyanuric acid is already embedded in the compound. Every single puck you dissolve releases a small fixed amount of CYA into your water, along with the chlorine. A 3-inch trichlor tablet is roughly 50% CYA by weight. Run a standard pool on tablets all season without ever testing CYA levels, and by mid-July, you're sitting at 100 parts per million or higher. And at those levels, something happens that pool stores virtually never explain to the people buying armfuls of pucks every weekend. The chlorine locks. Above roughly 80 parts per million of cyanuric acid, the bond between CYA and chlorine becomes so tight that the chlorine loses a significant portion of its effectiveness against pathogens. It is present in the water. Your test strip says you have 4 parts per million of free chlorine, but it cannot kill bacteria at anywhere near the rate it should. The condition has a name in pool chemistry: cyanuric acid inhibition. The CDC published guidance on it after a series of recreational water illness outbreaks where pools tested positive for adequate chlorine levels and still transmitted cryptosporidium. The chlorine was there. The water looked clear. It tested fine. And it was not protecting anyone. The pool store solution when you come in with this problem is to sell you high-dose shock. It works temporarily. But if your CYA is already at 120, adding more chlorine does not fix what is underneath. The CYA level does not drop by itself. Chlorine gets consumed, you add more pucks. The CYA creeps higher, the effectiveness keeps falling. More shock, more pucks, more spend. The cycle is self-reinforcing, and every step of it generates revenue for the shop that never explained why it started. The actual fix costs you a hose and an afternoon. Drop the pool water level by 1/3. Refill with fresh water. The CYA concentration dilutes proportionally. Then make one switch in how you add chlorine. Move from stabilized pucks to liquid chlorine. Plain sodium hypochlorite. The same chemistry as household bleach in a stronger concentration, sold at hardware stores for a fraction of the cartridge price. Add your CYA separately once, at the correct level in spring, and manage the two numbers independently from that point forward. Your chlorine works. Your stabilizer protects it. You own the system instead of feeding it. Testing CYA is straightforward and cheap. A reliable strip kit runs about $8. A drop-based FASDPD kit, the one the pool store uses internally for accurate results, runs about $15. Either one gives you the number you need. 30 to 50 parts per million is the target for a traditional chlorine pool. If you run a saltwater generator, 70 to 80 is the accepted range. Saltwater systems produce unstabilized chlorine and need more UV protection. Test at opening. Test again in July after 2 months of pucks have been slowly adding CYA. Adjust by diluting if the number climbs. That is the entire management system. 1 bag of granular cyanuric acid at the start of the season, costing around $10. A switch from stabilized tablets to liquid chlorine for ongoing dosing. A $15 test kit to watch the number twice across the season. Your chlorine stops disappearing before it can work. Your algae treatments stop. Your emergency shock purchases stop. Your pool store stops seeing you every other Saturday. The stabilizer has been an established part of pool chemistry since the early 1950s. The UV protection mechanism has been published science for decades. Every commercial pool in the country, every municipal facility, every gym, every competitive swim club manages CYA levels as basic weekly maintenance. The backyard pool market runs on the assumption that you will not. The tablets keep selling. The shock keeps moving. And the gap between what a pool actually costs to maintain and what most owners pay for it stays exactly where it has always been. $10, 1 bag, 1 spring. The rest of what you were spending was never necessary. If this saves you $200 this summer, share it with someone still buying chlorine by the case. See you in the next one.